you started to do a lot, I think.
Yeah.
This is one of the things that I remember is that you were doing a lot. Daily things when I saw you were like no problems. But you really were in no shape strength-wise or conditioning-wise on your knee and your leg to do what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
So how did the rest of your time just trying to gain that base strength, right, and range of motion, how was that?
It was really hard.
Yeah.
Like, you come in and, like, I came to you in maybe like 4.5 months post-surgery, I think.
Yes.
We started doing like different exercises that I wasn't doing in PT, but, you know, basically everything you do is super simple, you know, like hold your leg straight and see how long you can do that for.
Yes.
Like, and that is like, it's honestly soul crushing because it's so simple, yet it's so hard. And like, it hurts like nothing else, like muscle wise.
Yes.
Like, you know, you could do a terrible workout, but that doesn't hurt as bad as just holding your leg straight. And so I think it was just like really having to check myself, like not do too much, don't go on like too long of walks or anything, like stop trying to walk the dog and just focus on these really small exercises. And eventually every day is going to pass, and then all of a sudden 3 or 4 weeks will have passed, and like you can move on to something else because that is easy now, and now it's time for the next step. I think that's how it went. Yes. Honestly.
And no, that's exactly right. And you're speaking from firsthand experience, so it's interesting to hear your take, because if there's anything, especially my approach to rehab, is like just getting the fundamentals as good as you can, because that's what's going to allow you to do your cleans, your snatches, your jumps, your all of these other things, your prone paddling, which we'll talk about. But, but really what it was you were feeling that you had so much control. I think it was good that you had all that body awareness, because some of these exercises, yes, they're super simple, but you can just kind of do it and go through the motions and not get anything out of it. Or you can do it with like full intent, and it becomes the hardest thing that you've ever done, even after you've ran, you know, long distance triathlons and all of these kinds of things. And that's what you experienced, was that you're starting to pay attention more to like how you're doing the task instead of just doing the task. Yeah,
exactly. And I think that I realized when the first 4 months really did not go at all as planned, and I was still super swollen and I was still in pain, like it really became clear how much was at stake. Like if I don't do this correctly, like my knee's going to be messed up for the rest of my life, and 5 or 10 years from now I'm going to have to get like was it cortisone shots or something like that, like
or something more aggressive,
like you know, like
surgery.
steroid shots to fix my knee, or another surgery. Like I want to be really active, and I don't want to be in that boat, and like if I don't do this as best as I possibly can, like something really bad is going to happen.
And that was really, I think it was a whole different approach. You know, whenever you go to see a different facility or a different professional, the approach is going to be different. But for me, it was a lot of, you know, working with you, making sure that you're feeling or getting what you're feeling, right? But making sure what you're feeling is actually working the muscles and not irritating or stressing your knee. And from there, I think the first like 1 or 2 months, it was a lot of conversations with like you wanting to do a lot more. That's usually what I go through, is like, okay, I understand you want to do more, but this is going to help us get there faster, right? But after those first 2 months, because to give the listeners a little better picture, you were trying to start to run. But your stride length was completely different. There was like, you had no power or extension on that knee, right?
It was so bad.
You were trying to do more of the activities that are in theory the right things to do at that stage, like starting to do some hops, jump rope maybe, doing more squats and things like that. But there was just a lot of favoring on your good side, because you didn't have the strength or the responsiveness on that leg to actually do those kinds of things. So we had to kind of back off a little bit, like you said, back off on some of the daily activities too that were causing some irritation, and then just really start to build your leg up from the ground up so that you could get to those things faster. After those first 2 months, you started to really feel the strength, I think, the strength difference with other things that you were doing. And then we started to get into the lifting again, the plyometrics, you know, landings, jumping, footwork, jump rope, and all of that. Was there ever a time where you kind of realized, okay, I'm turning the corner and I'm getting more excited to do all of the things that I want to do?
Yeah, definitely. And then I would probably do too much. We'd have to step it back again. There were many times when I would make some progress and then be like, oops, like too much.
But luckily it wasn't so detrimental. I think you understood how to listen to your body a little bit more.
Yeah,
and you
definitely
understood what kinds of things would help you to recover. I think that was a huge one.
Yeah.
Yes. As you started to progress back into your activities, were there any highlights that stick with you in your memory? Like when you were excited, you probably know more than I do. That's why.
Oh my God.
For me, it's kind of all a blend with everybody. Like I know there's all of these periods of excitement where like, oh, I could do this again or whatever it is.
Yeah. I think just going on a run, like pain-free, like even if it's short, like going on it, first of all, you basically have to start over. Like you can't run at all. So you basically have to reteach yourself how to run. And so going on a run pain-free and then all of it, like going on a 5K pain-free, like, you know, and 5K to me seems like not a lot of mileage, but like right after, when you're in the middle of your ACL recovery, that's like a huge thing to run like 3 miles, like, you know, and yeah, things like that for sure was just getting through workouts and getting through runs like pain-free is really exciting. Yeah. And
even just getting back that conditioning, because I think that was one thing that we managed a lot was just your overall volume.
Yeah.
Because you're so used to training at a high volume, even when you were at Tulane, right? You were still training at a high volume with CrossFit and all of this. So just understanding how to progress back into that training volume, meaning how many times a week are you training, you know, the intensity of each session and all of those things. I think that made a big difference to get you back to everything that you wanted to faster. Yeah. Even though it may have seemed like a lifetime to you, I was actually very pleasantly surprised with how fast you got back into, I mean, even ocean sports, right?
Oh,
you started, Like, why don't you talk about that a little bit?
I just totally forgot about like swimming. So actually, immediately after ACL surgery, like one of the things I did was swim, but like with a pull buoy, so only pulling. And if I did a flip turn, I would only kick off my right leg. So I would just ignore my left leg. So actually getting the point where I could swim freestyle and kick, or swim freestyle and like do a flip turn and actually push off both legs, those were huge milestones because it was something that I actually did throughout the entire recovery. Surfing was definitely hard to get into, like that. Even for like a year and a half after surgery, because surfing is, you have to be able to respond like immediately. You have to be able to respond in any direction. So it's like really unpredictable. And so for a long time I was really, really timid. And then once you go and you have a good session and you like get waves that you're happy about, and like that's huge. Just feeling like you have confidence in your knee and like what it's going to do, like that it's going to do what you tell it to do, like or that like, you know, maybe you kind of ate it on a wave and like your knee didn't explode. Like that is also exciting.
Exactly. Yes.
And then throughout my recovery, I also got back into prone paddleboarding. Maybe not a lot of listeners know what that is, but
you have to explain to me and actually show me videos, because I was like, prone paddleboarding, like what does this entail? So explain.
Okay, so it's actually, it looks kind of like if you see like a racing stand-up paddleboard where it's, you know, longer and skinnier, looks kind of like that, but you're meant to lay on it and paddle in the prone position, or get up on your knees and like double arm paddle that way. I think, so I was actually surprised. I mean, it's big in Hawaii in like certain communities, but I think moving here I was expecting a lot more people to be into it than they were. It's actually really big on the mainland, I think because of like the ocean rescue competition environment. But the boards are slightly different for that than what we use out here. For like, basically everybody here is into distance paddling. So, you know, doing downwind runs, basically everything that like a canoe would do out here. You're just doing it on a prone paddleboard, and it's slower and more painful.
Again, it's just testing that mindset when you're doing an endurance run.
You do it if you like gnarly conditions and you like hurting, I guess. And it's, you know, you're out there on a downwinder, like a Hawaii Kai run, and the canoes zoom past you, and you're just like, well, here I am, like going a little slower.
Yes. But I'm glad that it's those kind of things for anybody that goes through ACL reconstruction. It's like having those end goals of what you want to achieve. And it's not uncommon for anybody after physical therapy. It's not uncommon for you to have this huge gap to get back into these activities. So either get the support or find a professional, or someone that can help you through that process, because there's going to be a lot of ways that you can transition to that end goal, I guess, in a safe and faster way so that you can enjoy it again.
Yeah.
But the prone paddleboarding, that was something new too, because I think I asked that right off the bat, like what kinds of things do you want to get back to?
Yeah.
And that's when you had to show me all of this. But in the beginning, I mean, I wasn't too concerned about that because we had to address some of the fundamental things. But as we started to progress more and more, it was really interesting to see what does your lower body need to withstand and what kinds of activities do we need to prepare you for? Because that's really the later stages of rehab. I wouldn't even say rehab. It's the later stages of training. And that's where it gets very specific as to what will get you to feel comfortable and confident again doing all of these things.
Yeah.